The police in Zamfara State have confirmed the abduction of 73 students at Kayade Secondary School in Maradun local government area, hometown of Governor Bello Matawale. Spokesman of Zamfara State Police Command, Superintendent of Police Shehu Muhammad, says the bandits invaded the school on Wednesday morning, where they abducted 73 students to an undisclosed location. Muhammad says a search and rescue team has been deployed to rescue the students. The affected school is for both boys and girls, and it has a total population of about 300 students. Meanwhile, the Zamfara State Governor has ordered the closure of all schools in the state till further notice. The restriction has also been placed on vehicles at the local government areas from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m., while Gusau, the Zamfara State capital, will have restrictions from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. The directives take effect immediately.
His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Zamfara State, has ordered the closure of all schools within the state. Both primary, secondary schools that are existing here are now closed with immediate effect. No movement in and out of all the 13 local government areas of the state from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. While Gusau, the state capital, will be from 8 p.m. to 6 p.m., commencing from today, Wednesday, 1st September 2021, until further notice. His Excellency further directed all security agencies to ensure total compliance with the new order. Gentlemen of the press, I want to use this opportunity to call on the general public to be law-abiding and cooperate with the government and security agencies in their commitment to curtail the activities of criminal elements.
For more on this story, Arise correspondent AWWAL IBRAHIM joins us now. AWWAL, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ruben.
Good morning. Well, what can you say about the security situation in Maradun local government area in the light of this sad incident that occurred yesterday?
Well, on the recent incidents relating to the students, no rescue has been reported yet. And Maradun local government area is just about 90 kilometers. That's the local government headquarters. About 90 kilometers from Gusau, the state's capital. And this is not the first bandit attack, though it's the first in one of the schools there. And the local government, we know, it's home to one of the notorious bandit camp known as Camp Bakinwa, which is very close to the Bakulori Dam. So communities in Maradun have been facing series of attacks, just like other local governments, the 14 local government areas in Sokoto, rather in Zamfara State, I beg your pardon. And one other thing, it's yesterday's attack. At the same time, when the bandits were, abusing, kidnapping, or adopting these students in Maradun local government area, then another group was also attacking the police formation at Gurubumbori in Zurmi local government area, where an officer, the rank of inspector, was gunned down by the bandits. And they also have to come back last night again to attack in same Zurmi community, rather in Gurubumbori community of Zurmi local government area. Then there are other attacks also in Dansado, in Maru local government area. So the attack in Maradun shouldn't be a surprise, because Maradun is in neighboring Maru and Anka, and these are the worst hit, local council areas because of their neighborhood Zamfara still pressed there in Zamfara. And some of the locations of these bandits or their camps are mostly known by the locals, but still effort has not been made, to meet these people at their hideout and for the security operatives to dig it out with them.
Right. Do we have an update on the situation in Katsina State? There's been reports of gunmen attacking people, and there's another report, which is quite disturbing, of 3 arrests made by the police of people in Katsina State who are on the Katsina government payroll. Do you have an update on that?
Yes, actually, this thing came up, I think, it was during the weekends, I believe, when one of the repentant bandits who has the trust of the state government, because Abdullahi Mirafi has been among those negotiating for the release of kidnapped victims, especially along Chibia and Bazari local government area. He's one of the repentant bandits, and the government has really put trust on him. He has been doing things, but unfortunately, he was cut off somewhere in UC local government area with a flock of sheep that were rustles. And earlier, we heard he was even arrested with a gun in his possession. As investigation goes on, he wasn't the only one. About three of them who are among the trusted repentant, bandits in Kasana. They turn out to betray the trust. There are speculations, even efforts were even being made to, appoint Abdullahi Mirafi as one of the governor's assistants. But unfortunately, this thing came up. So, people are still surprised, saying, could Abdullahi Mirafi be the only one? Or apart from him being a repentant bandit, the bloody man, perhaps there might be other people within. There were arrests in Bazari also, but still the officials have not said anything about it. Where I think one of the staff of the local council area was also invited, about two of them from that local government area. We are yet to get anything from the police, relating to that. So within the last 14 days, the security operatives here have been laying their hands on many of the bandit collaborators. So this is a plus. And one other thing, while the Nigerian police is mourning in Zamfara, I think they should be celebrating in Kasana. Because yesterday, a police inspector, while trying to enforce the restriction of movement in one of the local council areas, that's in Matazu local government area, he single-handedly, rescued a woman that was kidnapped from Bindawa local government area. The police inspector, about to talk solely, he chased these bandits. He saw, there is this restriction that no one should be seen moving around as from 6 p.m. outside the local government capital. And no bike should pick more than 2 people. So he saw a bike with two men and a woman. So what he did, when he chased them, they ran into the forest. And when he, turned around them, they started shooting at him. Luckily, he wasn't hit. And when they exhausted their firepower, he said, okay, according to him, he said that's when he would descend of them. So they ran away. They were 4. So he now rescued this woman, took her to the Matazu Divisional Police headquarters, where she was, reunited with her families from Bindawa local government area. So I think this bravery of this inspector in the Nigerian police is something that should be appreciated. So there are other cases of attacks also, especially in the southern senatorial districts, like in Kankara and Faskari local government areas also within the last 2 days.
Right. I'd like to know the name of this police inspector. Very amazing story there. I mean, he should be celebrated, for his bravery for that. And secondly, you said one of these repentant bandits that was working closely with the governor. I'd like to ask, under what scheme was that? Is it under the Suluhu scheme? Because we heard about that some people are, being fed, given means of livelihood under this scheme because they've repented, and what role have they played? There's a dichotomy and an argument between them just being spies and them really helping out as regards this fight against insurgents. You'll answer this after the break. We'll go for a quick break. We'll come back and you take that question. Thank you so much. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the morning show right here on the Rise News channel. We've got our Rise correspondent AWWAL IBRAHIM, and he joins us all the way from Zamfara, Katsina, and every part of the north that we have incidents of terrorists and bandits. Thank you so much for the great job you do, AWWAL. The first question was about that police officer. I want you to mention his name, so that he could be up for commendation. Secondly, you talked about a bandit that was working with the governor of Zamfara. Was it under the Operation Suluhu project, where they're giving some form of restitution to bandits or terrorists, as it were? And are they really helping out, or they are just being spies? Because we've had cases of people that said, okay, they've renounced banditry, and they come work and offer intelligence, and before you know it, they're back in the bush again, to perpetrate this very heinous act they do. And thirdly, have any contact been made? What is the state of these children that have been taken away, these students? Any contacts whatsoever? Is there anybody on their trail? Do we even know where they are? What is happening?
Well, to answer the first question, the officer involved, that's the brave officer, is Inspector Ahmad Soli. He works with the Mataz Divisional Police Division in Katsina State. So he was the one that single-handedly rescued that woman, Wawi Uza, from Bindawa local government area. So he rescued her somewhere in between Matazu and Kenkia local government area. That's in the community known as Karaka. So inside a bush path, that was where he chased those bandits. And, after exhausting their firepower, he went after them and they took to the hill. Then he rescued this woman. Then back to the issue of AWWAL Rafi, one of the repentant bandits that was paraded yesterday. AWWAL Rafi was a repentant bandit. Remember, Katsina state government, negotiated the amnesty deal in 2016 with the bandits, and gradually everything fell apart. Then in 2018 again, the governor himself made another effort. Governor Masari visits some of the locations. The local government areas that have been troubled by this act of banditry. So when he was in Jibia local government area, in Shimfuna community to be precise, that was the exact location where AWWAL Rafi came out and he spoke in front of the governor. In his words, he said it was even a shame for him speaking before the governor for the second time, despite what they have discussed and agreed upon previously, but some of them has gone back to the bush. So thereafter, the man was working, I should say, hand in hand with the office of the special advisor to the governor on security matters in Katsina State, because that's the office where we always meet him while we visit. But unfortunately, last week, this man, with 3 others again, he was caught. So what the Katsina State government did, those who the government thinks genuinely accept the amnesty deal, some of them were relocated to the state capital. They brought them close in town. I think that was why Mayor Rafi's address is reading Ofomorusa locals, but actually no one can tell you exactly where he hails from. So it was based on that deal that Mayor Rafi and others found themselves within Katsina Metropolis, the state capital, because they are always being called upon to discuss and also to, give hints on some occasions. And Mayor Rafi has been very, very instrumental 3 years back, in negotiating the release of kidnapped victims from Chibia and Batari local government areas, because those were his former areas of operation. But unfortunately now he has turned out to, be betrayed. Then going back to Zamfara State, as at now, at least no trace has been made on any of the students, and no one has come up to say this is the location. But the speculation is they are still within the Zamfara forest as of now.
Well, I wanted you to give us more details about how those students from Government Day Secondary School were abducted. We're told they were abducted around 11:22 a.m. Have you been able to talk to maybe the teachers or officials of the school to provide necessary details? And then what is the exact number of students who were abducted? Some papers are reporting 73, some other papers are reporting 100. But the only thing that is consistent is that the population of the school is put at 300. What is the exact number? Do we have an idea?
Well, before the police, yes, Mr. Ruben.
Okay. I was going to say, and then, you know, when I heard that, you know, the schools were in session, are the schools really in session, or these are, you know, students taking vacation lectures? And for how long would the schools be shut down on the directive of the governor? Is it indefinitely, or government put some time to it, you know?
The secondary and primary school closure is indefinitely, according to the Zamfara state government. And the incidents took place within 11 a.m. Immediately, I put a call through one of the locals there, Ishaq. He told me 3 of his daughters are involved, and then they are speculating, I think close to 100 students must have been taken away, and there were others that sustained, you know, a various degree of injuries. You know, they ran into the bushes to escape. Then those who didn't escape were the ones that were, you know, adopted now. But the authorities now came up with 73, you know, students. The issue is the school officials are not allowed, you know, talk to the press, and not even the commissioner for education. They accept any of the government appointed or the Nigerian police. So ascertaining the right figure of the student now, it will only be done, I think, rather, could only be reached out realistically as from later today if the school register has been checked. And unfortunately, the school have closed. So I think it is only when these students are being rescued, that is when the realistic figure of those that have been adopted will really be known.
That seems...
So back to the initial case. Yes.
Carry on. Please carry on. I didn't realize you hadn't finished.
Okay. So here in Zamfara State, not until before the recent closure, all the primary and post-primary schools are in session. But now the schools have been closed indefinitely, and there is this curfew across the 14 local government areas of the state. Yes, I said before the announcement of the closures, the primary and post-primary schools were in session. But already the activities have started being affected by the recent pronouncement of restriction of movement, and now the curfew again will really escalate, you know, issues, most especially at the hard-to-reach areas. These bandits have started attacking remote communities, you know, sourcing for fuel and food items. Imagine now they will stop someone on bike, you know, throwing out the petrol in his bike tank just for them to have what fuel. So in a few days to come, you know, we are going to see cases of attack in communities, but definitely we know the bandits will now find themselves in a very tight corner because of shortage of supply of essential commodities. Like in the attack in Zuri at Gurbambori community around 9 p.m. We are told, though they have kidnapped, you know, a number of women whose a particular figure has not been ascertained yet, but apart from breaking shops, they also took away clothing materials with them. So which means they have started feeling the pinches of this restriction. Remember, the whole thing applies in Katsina, Zamfara, and Sokoto, and also Kebbi and some parts of Kaduna, you know, state. So the bandits will start finding it more difficult to move around, you know, for attacking communities.
All right. Thank you so much, Al, for your reporting. Very sad story coming out of the north.